So I'm going to first quickly review the important fact useful for our session today first. So carry trade with borrowing and lendings. So we'll talk about dollar carry trade in the lecture. So when interest rate for pound is bigger than the interest rate for dollar, you need to borrow the currency with lower interest rate, dollar, let's say $1, and you have to convert and invest into pound deposit for 1 year. And you have to convert pound amount back to dollar at the unknown future exchange rate. So you're not going to remove any FX risk. This is the first form of dollar carry trade. The excess return from this strategy looks like this. So what you have here is what you have to pay back after 1 year. So you borrow $1 today. After 1 year, you have to pay back $1+ interest rate. What do you have here? You need to convert dollar into pound. That's this one. We're gonna put that pound amount into pound money market. That's this one. And after this is the part you have to convert dollar into pound. And you multiply by this one. So you're gonna get pound principal plus interest after 1 year. And you're gonna convert that pound back into dollar using this one. So what you have here is the return you're gonna get from doing carry trade, from investing into pound money market. So we can interpret the whole thing as an excess return. So excess return, so one student asked me about this one, what is the excess return? Excess return on dollar carry trade looks like this. What you're gonna get minus what you have to pay. Now we can compute expected excess returns. So you can take expectations on everything here. Now, what is the meaning of expectation given time t? You're gonna expect for the future using all informations available at time t, conditional expectations. In that case, everything known at time t, so for example, spot exchange rate at time t, interest rate at time t, interest rate at time t, these are just number given to you. Only expectations, you're gonna take expectations in front of the unknown thing, future exchange rate. So you can define excess return like this. You can define expected excess return, just take expectations in front of future unknown exchange rate. So in a sense, this can be interpreted as the risk premium, expected return minus risk-free rate. So we're going to use this one in this week's lecture. Now, when UIP hold from the UIP relationship, we can derive this one. The dollar carry trade will not provide any excess return. That is we learned this kind of things in the lectures. Now, when the dollar carry trade is profitable, one sufficient condition is this one. So high interest rate currency, pound, is expected to appreciate. So positive sign here means for £1, you expect to pay more in the future. So pound is expected to appreciate. If this is the case, the dollar carry trade will be profitable. That's the first form of the dollar carry trade. What is the second form? So we can do the same carry trade with forward contract. So when the pound interest rate is bigger than dollar interest rate, you can do the following things. You can buy high interest rate currency forward, in this case, pound forward at T, and then you will sell £1 at T+1 using future unknown exchange rate. So we talk about the Mr. Buy's dollar profit, and we can also talk about Mr. Buy's dollar expected profit. So for example, if the future unknown exchange rate is the $1.7 per pound, and forward rate is the $1.5 per pound, then Mr. Buy will pay $1.5 to get £1. Right away, Mr. Buy will sell that £1 and get 1.7 future exchange rate, the $1.7. So using the symbol, this is the Mr. Buy's profit. Future non-exchange rate minus forward rate given today. What about the expected profit? So you can take expectations on everything's conditional expectations. Again, the everything known at time t is just number given all time t information set. So expectation appear only in front of the future unknown exchange rate. When do we have profitable dollar carry trade? If this is the case, you will get profit from implementing dollar carry trade because this become positive, right? So you pay this amount, dollar amount, 1.5, and once you get pound, you will sell it to get future unknown exchange rate, for example, 1.7. By the way, we talk about this one when the unbiasedness hypothesis hold, Mr. Bai's profit will be 0. It's better to put expected here because this is expectations. So expected profit will be 0. Why $2 carry trade are equivalent? In the lecture, I showed you we can derive this relationship. What is in the left-hand side? This is the excess return from borrowing dollar and converting investing into pound. The first form of carry trade is equal to some number times the profit from implementing second form of carry trade by buying high interest rate currency forward, which is this one, right? So this is the excess return from borrowing and lending. This is the excess return or profit from buying high interest rate currency forward. Same carry trade. We just have some number in front of this. So this is explaining why those two are equivalent. And then we define something called forward market return. Forward market return looks like this. Now, this is not return in usual sense, because when you think about holding period returns, normally we define like this. What you pay today, what you will get in the future so what you pay today, let's say you buy a stock for $100 today, and you sell that at $120 next month, then your return will be something like this. What you pay here, what you pay today, what you will get in the future, right? This is the holding period return. Now, in forward case, you are just buying forward contract today, so you're not paying anything today. So there is nothing you can put in the denominator. So many people just define something looking like a return. So they divide by current spot exchange rate. Now, why we can interpret this one as the excess return or return for buying forward contract because of this relationship. So we derive this relationship. What is in the left-hand side? This is the excess return from borrowing dollar and convert investing to pound money market, right? It's equal to forward market return plus 1 plus pound interest rate. This is just a number, something like 1.12 in our lecture note, our example. So forward market return is derived from the second carry trade using forward. Excess return here is derived from the first form of carry trade, borrowing dollar and converting investing into pound money market. And I want to give a note on one thing. I didn't explain this one clearly before, so I just want to make a note here. Let's say distribution of X follow normal distributions. This is the mean, this is the variance. Then what is the distributions of A times X plus minus B? So A and B are number like a 2 or 3, right? When we assume normal distribution for X, we can get the distributions of A times X plus minus B. It's also normal. This is just the characteristic of normal distribution you can learn in any statistics class. The mean will be something like this. Variance will be something like this. A times mu plus minus B is the mean. A squared sigma squared is the variance. Now, why this is relevant? Because we're going to use this fact to solve some of the practice questions in topic 2.2. So we talk about this one, distribution of future exchange rate. So future exchange rate is equal to current exchange rate times 1 plus change, specifically change in dollar per pound. So pound is in the denominator for everywhere here. So page 58 to 59 of topic 1. And we learned these two. Conditional expectation of the future exchange rate is the today's exchange rate times 1 plus expectation of change. And standard deviations of the future exchange rate is equal to current exchange rate times standard deviations of change. Everything is on time t information set, so conditional standard deviations. Given these mean and standard deviations, we can get 68%, 95%, 99% bound of these future distributions. So we can, for example, 95% bound, mean plus minus 2 times standard deviations. So in this figure, so this is the mean. Standard deviations is 6. So this is 1 sigma, this is 2 sigma, minus 1 sigma, minus 2 sigma. So this give you 95% bound, approximately. Now in question 1 and question 2, we're gonna compute, we need to think about distributions of function of exchange rate. We will talk more clearly later on. For example, question 1, you're supposed to get the 95% bound of whole, this thing. Question 2, you're supposed to compute 95% of this one. In order to solve this and this, you need to start from 95% of the future exchange rate. And this is just a function of future exchange rate, just like this one. Once you get the distribution of x, you can get distribution of a times x plus minus b very easily. So we're going to take a look at that from now on. If you have any question, you can ask me. So let's talk about question 1. Question 1. Suppose that the 90-day forward rate is given like this. For €1, you have to pay $1.19. Current spot rate is this. You expect the future spot rate in 90 days is to be $1.21 per euro. Given these informations and you are confident about your forecast, what you need to do? So question A, what contract would you make to speculate in the forward market by either buying or selling $10 million? So are you going to buy $10 million forward, or are you going to sell $10 million dollar forward? Sorry. So given these informations, future exchange rate expectations, $1.21 per euro, and forward rate, this one, what would you do? So basically, one of these two. You can buy €1 forward, or you can sell €1 forward, for example. So let's talk about profit and loss from these two different cases. There are no other case. You can either buy €1 or you can sell €1. So if you buy €1 90-day forward using this price, that means you're gonna give $1.19 to counterparty of your contract, and you're gonna get €1. Then, given €1, you expect to sell that at this price. You are confident about your forecast. So your profit is going to be 1.12 minus typo 21 minus 1.19, right? So plus 0.02. This is also 21. Stupid typo. So by buying €1, you will get profit. You expect to get this profit per every €1 forward purchase. The counterparty of this guy, the guy selling €1 90-day forward for buying $1.19 will get this one as a loss, right? The zero-sum game. We talk about this one in the lecture. So buying euro forward, you will get profit. If you sell euro forward, you're gonna get loss, expected loss. So obviously you're gonna choose this one. Then in terms of dollar, are you going to buy or sell $10 million? You need to know this one. So when you say buy euro forward, actually we have to, it's better to add something here. For selling dollar. What you do is actually you're buying euro by paying dollar, so by selling dollars. So this is more precise way of saying buy euro forward. Then you can say this one equivalently in the following way. You're selling dollar forward for buying euro. This is, I told you in international finance, when you think about anything involving with the exchange rate, always there are two ways of saying exactly same thing. You're gonna buy euro forward for selling dollars. You can say that in terms of dollar, right? You're gonna sell dollar forward for buying euro. Just this is just confusing thing, but we we just have to know this. Okay, is this okay? So you have to sell 10 million dollar forward. Then question 2, ask you to compute what is your expected profit. So one thing is missing, I think, here. Yeah. Okay, this is the one. You need to speculate by buying euro forward for selling dollar. So you are selling $10 million forward. Now, in the forward market, so sell $10 million forward. Equivalently, we can say that buy euro some amount forward. There are two ways of saying exactly same thing. Then we need to compute this number. The two different way of saying exactly same thing. How can we translate $10 million into euro amount? We have to use forward rate because this is forward contract, right? So what is the value, the euro value of $10 million? The $10 million times forward rate of the USD UR. Why USD UR? Then USD will be canceled, and you're gonna get euro amount, right? So we need to get forward rate of the USD UR. Now in the question, you have EUR USD forward rate. This is the euro is in the denominator, the first three letter, dollar is in the numerator, last three letter. So you have EUR USD forward, but we need forward rate of the USD UR. You know how to get this one, right? This is just a reciprocal. So 1 divided by $1.19 per euro, this is going to be forward rate of the USD yuan. So if you multiply these two, dollar will be canceled, and you're gonna get euro amount. And if you compute this one, this is the one you're gonna get. So you can say either this guy, you are gonna sell $10 million forward, or you can say that you're gonna buy this amount of euro forward. It's two different way of saying exactly same thing. And then this question asks you to compute the expected profit. Now remember, we compute this one first. Buying 1 euro 90-day forward, you expect to get $0.02, right? Now you're gonna get this amount of euro forward. So you just need to multiply the whole euro amount you're gonna invest by dollar profit per every 1 euro forward. Then euro will be canceled, and you're gonna get dollar amount. So this is the expected dollar profit from buying this amount of euro forward. Is this okay? Since if you don't have any question, let's go to the next questions. Now, if the standard deviations of the 90-day rate of appreciations of the euro relative to the dollar is 3%, What range covers 95% of your possible profit and loss? Your possible profit and loss. We need to assume normal distributions. You need to understand this question asks you to compute 95% bound of your possible profit and loss from buying this amount of euro forward. So you're gonna buy this amount of euro forward. What is the 95% bound? So you have to compute the mean of this one using the normal distribution and using the relationship, this relationship, given normal distribution mu sigma square, ax plus minus b follow normal, right? Or you need to do the following things. So there are two ways, but what I'm going to use here is a bit more easy, the easier than the other thing. So you just need to follow my step here. When you compute profit loss from buying the whole thing, first of all, it's better to compute 95% bound of the profit loss from buying €1 forward. Once you get the 95% distribution of this one, you just need to multiply the whole amount on that 95% bound. What I'm trying to say is it's better to compute 95% bound of this one and multiply this one onto every number here to get 95% bound of this one. It's called normalizations. If you get 95% for €1, you couldn't get 95% of any euro amount. Okay, so always it's easier to compute 95% of the normalized value, €1 forward. Now, then you need to think about how do we compute the profit from buying €1 forward? So for buying €1 forward in 90 days, you have to pay $1.19 to buy €1. And right away, you're going to sell €1 at unknown future exchange rate. So you're going to pay this one and you're going to get this one. So buying €1 forward, your profit is going to be looking like this. €1 times, for example, if this is dollar 1.7 per €1, euro will be canceled and you're going to get dollar amount minus what you have to pay. Now, because this is uncertain, this could be 1.9, 21, or 1.2, 1.1, right? Any value can be possible. So you will get something like this. You will get distribution of this one. That distribution will be a function of this guy. If this guy has a different number, you will get different number of whole thing. What I'm trying to say here is if you want to get 95% of this one, you have to start from 95% of this guy. And when we get 95% bound of this one, you have to realize that this one is just some number 8 times this guy minus some number, right? So if you get 95% of this one, you can easily get 95% of this one because we can say this is normal distributions. And mean of this one is just 8 times mean of this one. And variance of this one is just the a squared times variance of this one. Okay. Anyway, so once I solve this one, everything will be clearer to you. So let's start with the 95% of this one. In topic 1, we learned this one. We need to get the mean and standard deviations of the future exchange rate. Then you will get distribution of this one, right? Now, given this information, you expect the future spot rate is to be $1.21 per euro. So mean is already given. What about the standard deviation? Standard deviation is the current exchange rate times standard deviation of change. So this one is a change, standard deviation of change, so 0.03. So current exchange rate, $1.20 per euro times 0.03, you get this one. This is the standard deviation of this guy. This is the mean of this guy. Given mean and standard deviations, we can get 95% bound of this. Mean plus minus 2 times standard deviations. So 0.06, mean is here. Mean plus minus 2 times standard deviations. So if you compute the plus side and minus side, this is plus side, this is minus side. So ST plus 90, mean is 1.21, 95% bound. This is 1.282, and this is 1.138. We got 95% bound for ST plus 90. Given this one, we have to compute 95% of this, which is just function of future exchange rate. So given 95% bound of this one, how do you get 95% of buying €1 forward? So profit or loss for buying €1 forward looks like this. Then you just plug in this pound to this place. So €1 times this one and this one. Euro will be canceled, and you're gonna get $1.138 lower bound and $1.282 upper bound. And you have to subtract $1.19 from both sides. So subtract from here, subtract from here, and this is the one you're gonna get. So we get distribution of this one, or 95% bound of this one. If you want to compute 8 times, let's say this is X minus B, the 95% bound of this one, you just plug in 95% bound here and just multiply A for both terms and subtract B from both terms. That's what we did. So you can get distributions in this way easily. Now, this is just for 95% bound for buying €1 forward, but we are supposed to compute 95% bound for buying this amount of euro forward. You just need to multiply the whole amount to each lower bound and upper bound. So this is for per €1. So euro will be canceled. You just multiply this, you get lower bound and upper bound. So there are two ways. One way, you write down the profit and loss for buying this amount of forward here, the mean here, and standard deviation, you get standard deviations, and then you compute 95%. That's one way. So you directly compute mean of this one and standard deviation of this one directly and get 95% bound. That's the first approach. Second approach, that's what we have been doing. So I think this is more easier than the other one. You start from the unknown thing, the distribution of that one, and think about how can you get profit and loss for normalize the amount. So we can go back actually starting from this one. You start from getting 95% of the unknown thing and think about what is the form of the profit and loss for buying normalized euro forward, which is this one. So once you get this one, plugging that into here. And then once you get this one, just multiplying the whole amount to the pound. That's what we have been doing. The two different way. I think this is more complex. Try to get the mean and variance of the ultimate things directly. That's too difficult. I think the second way, starting from bound of this and think about this form and just plug in everything to get 95% bound for the normalized one and multiply by the whole amount to get the 95%. I think this is more approachable method. Okay. Actually, we can practice this one more time because I ask exactly same thing in question 2. I think this was the 2022 or 2023 or 2020 exam. So final exam questions. This was the final exam question. Question 2 and question 3. Kim Deal, a portfolio manager for the AM Best hedge fund, observed the following price. 1-year pound interest rate, 15.5% per annum annual interest rate. Then spot exchange rate, 1-year forward exchange rates are given. Now, suppose 1-year pound dollar deposit are default-free. Forward rate has no counterparty default risk. And deposit rate are same as the loan interest rate. Bid-ask spread are zero in both spot and forward FX market. What is the meaning of these kind of things? This means actually CIP hold. These are the assumptions we use to prove if CIP hold or not, right? Given these assumptions, you need to say directly CIP hold. Anyway, the AMBS research team has a good forecasting model. So this is the future exchange rate. So we are supposed to compare the forward rate with future spot exchange rate and think about investment strategy. Based on the information, what contract would Kim Deal make to speculate in the forward market? The question looks almost same. Either buying or selling 10,000 GBP pound. So we have to compare forward rate with the future exchange rate, the expected value. The forward rate is $1.5 per pound. Future expected exchange rate is the $1.67 per pound. Now you have to think about two cases. You can buy 1 pound forward, or you can sell. This should be pound. There are many typo here. 1 pound forward. So if you buy 1 pound forward, you have to pay $1.5 to get 1 pound. Right away, you can sell that 1 pound at this price. You expect that. So if this number is bigger than this one, you have to buy pound forward. You pay this one. If you sell that pound, you will get $1.67. So difference is going to be your profit per every 1 pound forward purchase. The counterparty of this contract will get this loss. So zero-sum gain. So question for this one, buying 10,000 pound forward. You see, I ask almost same questions in the actual final exam, right? I don't give that difficult questions. You can see that from here. Next, suppose the conditional volatility of the change in GBP USD over 1 year is 2%. What range covers 95% of the possible profit and loss? It's also almost exactly same. So we're going to follow the second method. What is the meaning of second method? So think about this one by one. The question asks you to compute 95% bound of the possible profit loss from buying 10,000 pound forward. We're not going to deal with this one directly. We're going to think about the possible profit loss from buying 1 pound forward, normalized value. And then we're going to think about how we can express this one and using unknown future exchange rate. What I mean by that. So for buying 1 pound forward in 1 year, Kim will pay $1.5 to buy 1 pound and right away sell that 1 pound at future unknown exchange rate. So buying 1 pound forward, Kim's profit loss is going to be this. 1 pound times dollar per pound future unknown exchange rate. So this will give you dollar proceed you're gonna get. So when you sell 1 pound, this is the one you're gonna get. And this is the $1.5 you need to pay to get 1 pound. So you pay this one and get 1 pound. Right away, you're gonna sell that 1 pound at unknown future exchange rate. So this is gonna be possible profit or loss. Given this unknown exchange rate, this can be plus number or minus number. And then in order to compute 95% bound of this one, we have to get 95% bound of the future exchange rate first. So we're gonna go back from the last to the first. First, we're gonna get 95% bound of this one and get 95% bound of this one by plugging 95% bound into this. This is for 95% bound of buying £1 forward. So we're going to multiply bound to this one to get the final answer. I'm just following exactly same step I did for the question one. And this was the one of the final exam questions a few years ago. So what is going to be distribution of the future unknown exchange rate? First of all, the mean value is given 1.67. The expected value of future exchange rate is given 67. What about the standard deviations? Current exchange rate times standard deviation, conditional standard deviations of change, which is 0.02%. So we get this number. Given mean and standard deviations, we can get 95% bound. Mean plus minus 2 times standard deviations. So lower bound and upper bound. Just like before, upper bound, lower bound. And then we have to compute 95% for buying £1 forward, which looks like this. How? You just plug in this bound into this. So £1, pound will be canceled. So you're going to get 1.604 as a lower bound, $1.736 as upper bound. And you have to subtract this from both. So finally, we're going to get 95% bound for buying £1 forward. Finally, 95% bound for buying 10,000 forward is going to be just this times 10,000 pound. So pound will be canceled. Multiplications to each, you will get lower and upper bound. 95% bound of buying 10,000 pound forward. Exactly the same thing, right? I just want you to practice with these two questions to think about these kind of questions. And then the question three, the question two was the same as the question one. And now question three is about two carry trade, two different form of the carry trade. Describe two alternative ways to implement the carry trade strategy and calculate the expected profit from two methods and explain precisely why the two ways of implementations are essentially equivalent. In order to answer these questions, you need to know first, you need to compare interest rate for pound versus interest rate for dollar. Only the interest rate for pound are given. However, given these assumptions, we know CIP hold. Now, CIP formula, we talk about this one. If I give you forward rate, spot rate, and one exchange rate, you should be able to get the other exchange rate, right? We are using that here. So this is the CIP form. You can take a look at page 11 of topic 2.1 CIP slide if you're not sure about this. So we're gonna just plug in number. The pound interest rate is 15.5%. Spot exchange rate is 1.65. Forward rate is 1.5. And we are supposed to compute this dollar interest rate. You will get 0.05. So if you compare this dollar interest rate with against the pound interest rate, which is 0.155, in terms of carry trade, we need to do dollar carry trade. You have to borrow the currency with lower interest rate. You have to convert, invest into the currency with higher interest rate, right? So these questions, you need to figure out first whether you're implementing dollar carry trade or pound carry trade. It turns out, using CIP, it turns out you have to do dollar carry trade, right? So you're gonna borrow $1 today, convert, invest into pound money market for one period. After one period, you're gonna get certain dollar amount and you have to pay back $1.05. So how do we compute the excess return? I can compute excess return or expected excess return, but here I'm gonna just compute expected excess return. So what is the expected excess return from borrowing dollar, converting, investing into pound, right? So this is the what you have to pay back after 1 year. This is what you're gonna get after 1 year. So you're gonna convert $1 into pound. That's this part. You're gonna put that pound amount into pound money market. That's this part. After one period, you need to convert back into dollar. Now you're gonna use expectation of future exchange rate. So the whole thing is the expected dollar value you're gonna get from investing into pound money market, right? So this is what you expect to earn, and this is what you're gonna pay. The whole thing is the expected profit. Now we know all these number. This is $1.65 per pound. Pound interest rate is this one, 15.5%. The expected value of the future exchange rate is this one, and dollar interest rate is also given. So if you just compute everything, you will get this number. What is the meaning? If you borrow $1 and implement this dollar carry trade, you will get $0.119 as an excess return after 1 year. That is the meaning of this. So we implement dollar carry trade by borrowing $1, converting investing into pound, you're gonna get this profit. What about the expected profit from second method? What is the second method? You have to buy higher interest rate currency forward. Let's think about this one. Buying £1 forward contract here. Expected profit is this. Why this is the expected profit? This is Mr. Bar's expected profit. So you're gonna pay forward price to get £1, and you're gonna sell it at £1 at this expected value, right? So the expected value is bigger than forward price. You expect to earn more than what you have to pay to get £1. So this is the profit, the expected profit. So expected value is this one. Forward price is this one. So £1 will be canceled. So you're gonna get dollar amount. So you're gonna expect to get $0.17 per every £1 for the purchase. Now we haven't shown the why these two are exactly equivalent, right? So in page 41, I already reviewed this one in the beginning, right? We derive this relationship. What you get, excess return from borrowing dollar, converting, investing to pound money market is equal to this number times the expected profit from implementing dollar carry trade by buying pound forward, right? We have to multiply this one to get equivalence. This is the formula. So that's what you are exactly doing. So in the previous slide, we compute this one. If you borrow dollar and convert invest into pound money market, this is the one you expect to earn after one period. Now we are getting this number. So what is the pound interest rate? 0.155. Current spot exchange rate is 1.65. Is that right? Yeah. So you just plug in this number. And what about this one? This is the $0.17 per £1. So this dollar will be canceled. So you're gonna get pound amount of this times dollar per pound. So pound will be canceled. So at the end, this number times this minus this, you should get the same dollar amount. So what we just showed is your excess return from implementing the first form of dollar carry trade is equal to some number times scaled version of the expected profit from implementing dollar carry trade using forward contract. So we just showed they are equivalent in this sense. So that's the question 3. Do you have any questions? When will this be uploaded? Maybe around 6 p.m. today. You need to look over this. Okay, so I will post this slide and I will also post the video recording.